because it happens only every 10 years, people are just not paying attention and aren't going to expect it.
Lindsay Linsner is Senior Director of Programs for the Miami Foundation. The nonprofit is leading a county-wide effort to better inform Miami-Dade residents about the 2020 census.
Miami-Dade County within Florida is one of the hardest to count communities for. We have data going back from 2000 and 2010 that shows us which specific cities within Miami-Dade County tend to have a lower response rate. So we already know the high-risk communities. People forget to count the children, the babies in their homes, the cousins sleeping on the couch. We have a high population that English is not a first language. We have a high number of immigrants. Even if you are not a U.S. citizen, you need to be counted in the census. Every single living, breathing person needs to be counted. And so we're trying to do everything we can to make sure that message is clear, to ensure that the entire population gets counted.
According to the U.S. Census Bureau, Miami-Dade, Palm Beach, and Broward were among the top undercounted counties in Florida during the last census 10 years ago. That meant the state missed an estimated 1.4 million people, costing Florida roughly $20 billion in lost federal funding.
We need that government funding to support critical programs for youth, like SNAP benefits, like early childhood education. We need money for Medicaid. Census funding is so important to everything that we do every day. That data is used by nonprofits and foundations to make decisions about the services that they're going to offer. It's used by government to figure out where they're going to build roads, because they want to build roads near where the people are. So if we lose out on counting everybody and we lose out on that money, it's another 10 years before we're going to be able to have a chance at actually getting that money back that we need.
Yeah, and worth noting as well that it also determines our congressional representation.
In the 2020 census, it is estimated that Florida could potentially get 2 more congressional seats. And so that's huge. So it's not only the dollars into our community, it's representation for our state in Congress. And so we really, as a state, want to get as complete a count as possible.
As part of Miami-Dade County's census outreach campaign, the Miami Foundation and its partners are helping to educate community-based organizations to reach those historically undercounted populations. They've awarded $475,000 to 29 local nonprofits, such as Centro Campesino, that works with South Dade's farm worker community, to better ensure a more accurate count this time around.
Agricultural workers are important to South Florida's economy, but also for the whole state. One of the top 3 key economic drivers in the state of Florida is agricultural work. For Miami-Dade County, it's one of the top 5.
John Martinez is Centro Campesino's executive director. For nearly 50 years, this community development corporation has helped provide affordable housing to the area's agricultural workers.
In our history, Centro Campesino has built over 500 single-family homes and sold them in the affordable market. We also manage multifamily properties of apartments for senior citizens and working families. We have over 2,500 individuals that participate in our HUD-certified homeownership course.
And when it comes to educating this community about the census, John says their biggest hurdle is fear.
There is also fear in our community of government structures and government individuals. With the rhetoric that has grown the last few years, particularly towards immigrants, that immigrants are causing all the economic and social ills in our community. People fear government structures and government individuals. We strongly believe that that's going to be an impediment to having a clear and accurate count.
And let's talk about that fear factor. People who are maybe illegal or people who are not citizens, they still need to be counted, correct? And that question won't be on the census.
There will not be a citizenship on the census. But there is a lot of fear about somebody knocking on their door and asking their status, and fear about what they put on the form, who that information will be available to. The Census Bureau keeps the information secure for 72 years. Nobody, no government agency, not the president, not anybody has access to that information. So we're doing the best we can to really educate both the organizations we work with in the community and the general population that their information that they fill out on the census form is secure.
It's an issue and a challenge that we cannot deal with ourselves. We are part of a collaborative, which is the Florida Farm Worker Census Collaborative. We have a partnership with Culture One World, and they created sensitive materials in Spanish for immigrants, and other Latinos. Part of that partnership is to share and disseminate those materials on the local television stations, radio, and print media. Today, we have affordable housing units, and they're all full. For every unit that we have close to 200 people on a waiting list. There are literally thousands of people waiting for an opportunity for affordable housing in Miami-Dade County. Without an accurate census count, those long lines are just going to get longer. With an accurate census count, there could be resources available to support affordable housing and other vital services. So an accurate census count or an inaccurate census count affects all of us.
Our focus is the northwestern part of the county, so underrepresented, under-resourced area, a disadvantaged area, absolutely an area that's hard to count.
Nikisha Williams is Chief Operating Officer of another Miami Foundation grantee, the Opa-locka Community Development Corporation. For the past 40 years, this nonprofit has helped provide resources such as affordable housing and financial empowerment to community members most in need.
We recognize that there's high poverty, it's an under-resourced community, so our goal is to pump as many resources as we can and be a support system for our community so that together we can all rise up. None of us are receiving big dollars. And so the fact that there's an organization like Miami Foundation that really can come along and help develop template resources and pull together collectively organizations that really want to have an impact, it's important because it means that we all don't have to start from scratch, that we all can benefit from the collective of all organizations. And so we get to take what they've developed and then customize it for our own community. One of the things that we find is that people don't trust government. People don't trust that the resources are being sent to their communities. They don't trust that that they're going to get anything out of this. So as a result, they say, why do I need to take this? And so for us, we're trying to help overcome that, and we're trying to help them understand there's an opportunity for us to get more resources as a whole, and you count as a person, and so we need you to stand up. We need you to hold your hand up and say, yes, I live here, because that then informs the number of resources that we receive as a community.
This year's census will be available mostly online. That may be a challenge, however, for some low-income communities such as Opa-locka, where access to the internet and computers may be difficult for some residents.
We're lucky enough to have tons of laptop computers here in our own campus, and so we're going to loan those laptop computers out to other organizations so that they can reach their community directly at community events or any other types of trainings. We're going to go directly into affordable housing units here in the community. So oftentimes these are some of the hardest to count. So one of the things that we're going to do is the day that rent is due, we're going to set up shop and we're going to be there with our computers, knowing that lots of these folks don't have computers in their homes. So we're going to be there saying, hey, do you know about the census? Hey, go upstairs and get that code that they already sent you and let's do this. I can answer all of the questions that you have. There's also some senior affordable housing units. Again, they're not as comfortable on the computer, so we're going to make sure that we're there to help walk them through this process and hold their hands. We're reaching out to local universities and colleges to go on campus and do the exact same thing. This is the first time that many folks on college campuses are taking the census. We want to be there to help answer questions, help guide them through the process if they need answers.
So with South Florida's rapid growth, even from 2010 to now, it's almost as if this census is the most important count that it's ever had.
It is so critically important. Those dollars are so needed. That representation is needed. It also determines redistricting. So even within your little community, you need to advocate that your neighbors participate in the census so that you can make sure that you get the representation locally that you need.